Hello guys, that's Amy and again. I'm filming here from Moldova, Chisinau. And in this video, I'm gonna read to you, I'm gonna tell you the succinct version of why I'm seeking asylum here in Moldova. I'm seeking asylum from the Russian Federation for a subsequent time, for the final time, hopefully. Yeah, I will never come back there again. So here I'm gonna read the document for you that I submitted to the Moldovan Immigration Migration Service that is processing the claims. Yeah, it's called the 10 points with reasons for my asylum seeking structured. So point one: regular, deliberate, and planned physical torture, physical body destruction of me in the Russian Federation, physical assault, health harm caused deliberately, exposing to physical hazards, human trafficking me, sexual rapes and assaults, threats to life, both verbal and physical, murdering me physically. So this first point, I'm discussing this now, yeah? Physical torture of me in the Russian Federation every night or otherwise regularly, lethal threats against my life, causing irreparable health harm to me by the Russians and the Russian Federation, rapes, gang rapes, beatings by groups and individuals, further torture causing physical ailment and injury, extreme humiliation, dehumanization, extreme physical and mental health harm, threat to life, ongoing murder of my physical body, them using my brain disorder to get regular criminal access to me physically, to my body, and to my physical property and information-based property, and doing the most harm and destruction that they could, deliberately and with pleasure. My phone changing its own settings overnight, evidently in very visible ways, my information not being private and being misused, my things stolen there in Russia by the Russians or damaged irreparably by the criminals that took me there, yeah, massively as a group, as groups, yeah, and individuals too. Inability to be healthy, alive, and safe. They exposed me, the Russian criminals who were taking me in Russia, the Russians, yeah. I'm talking about 8 people in every 10. I'm talking about statistics, yeah. They exposed me to every physical destruction, danger, harm, suffering, and to physical body damage and biohazards and to chemical hazards. Deliberately killing, injuring, disfiguring, maiming, hurting, harming me. Simply as one example, beating me on the head to cause concussion symptoms, which I believed happened repeatedly. As another, making me eat out of disgusting garbage disposal dumpster on the street, which I, well, as witnesses alleged happened, though I never had a memory of this. Pushing buckets of disgusting allergens containing trash down my throat in a feeding torture, knowing that I was already caused a very bad disorder of my digestive system as a result of their crimes, and continuing to destroy my body. Aware they're feeding me allergens that made me choke and harmful toxic substances. Spreading rat poison in the flat I rented there in Russia. One of them, yeah. The second one, too, they did add some very nasty acting chemical substance there, yeah. There was a torture of pouring bottles of water down my throat to the effect of causing me extreme urinary damage. But for that one, I cannot know exactly whether it was done by the Russians or their commands, or whether it was done in that in only in that specific case, yeah, by unrelated individuals as a possibility. Yeah, I cannot tell for sure. Okay. Physical sexual rape by the Russians of me, harming my genitals, harming my mental health, depriving me, the Russians, yeah, who attacked me there, deprived me of physical sleep possibility to the extent where it prevented me from having a job or being physically functional or existing, exposing me to high risks of accidental death or injury and harm, beating me on my legs, in one case making me unable to walk and hurting for months, thinking I'll be in a wheelchair for the rest of my life, literally having to learn to walk again, 3 months with a lot of courage and a lot of horror. Okay, human trafficking me for their entertainment. They're in Russia, throughout several different apartments, several different places in different sides of Moscow. In Novosibirsk too. Different parts of Novosibirsk, yeah. In Moscow area. Okay. So they were human trafficking me for their entertainment, for sexual assaults, for criminal money gain, out of hate, etc. I was absolutely helpless as their victim, without a chance to protect my body, my physical life, my brain, my information, or my physical property and valuables. Deliberate destruction of appearance, I accuse them of these things. I accuse the Russian criminals who are massively attacking me in groups and as individuals, in Russia before I ran from there. Okay, so when I say they or them, in these cases, it denotes those Russian criminals who in huge numbers targeted me and attacked me and were trying to kill me. Okay, so where was I reading? I'm reading this material here that I submitted to the Migration Service. I want to be exact. I want to document everything. Okay, so I said I was absolutely helpless. I said deliberate destruction of my appearance by them disfiguring or trying to disfigure my physical body, and are statements of actions and intent to disfigure my face. Threats of pervert gun rapes associated with my decisions to leave the Russian Federation and to seek asylum. And as another reason, with my attempt to seek foreign husband at some point. As a bodyguard, I told about this in the other video, That's scary. That was disgusting. Ousting my eye from the existence, to the effect of very realistic possibility of my complete disappearance and my never waking up and not being able to exist. Inability to exist for me there. Because those Russian criminals, were killing me non-stop, without a pause, without exceptions or limits. They were playing physically killing me. I'm going to turn to the second page of this narration here. I'm going to try. My fingers do not want to do what I'm trying to do, turn this page. Because I'm exhausted. It's late night here now. I'm feeling this from Moldova. It's now again, because I was attacked. Subsequent time, I'm being under every threat. I'm in every danger. So I'm filming all this. I'm documenting all this, Okay, page 2. Point 2. Regular, deliberate, massively implemented, physical, sexual, social, verbal, defaming, aggression, and harassment happening in the streets and public places, or intentionally committed socially, and or through the internet, or through using videos. So I'm going to discuss this second point now, Extreme harassment in the streets in the Russian Federation of me, vomiting gestures, very grotesque, by massive amounts of people, yeah, including uniformed policemen at some point, yeah, but massive amounts of people of various demographics that were taking me, yeah. 8 people out of 10. Statistics, yeah. Coughing in my face deliberately, pretending to cough in my face, or when passing me, literally seeking intimate proximity to my face and turning toward me to do it in my face, some of them, yeah, with pleasure, deliberately. Physically walking into me, into my body, or into my things, or trying to do so in a very visible, very obvious, open manner, as intentional provocations and harassment by individuals of both genders, intentionally, knowing that I seek physical safety and am scared of them and repulsed by them, riding into me or trying to do so to harass, humiliate, and scare. Shameless, openly done by many, many men, penis gestures. While the male would stare at me and laugh in my face, sometimes it was done in pairs or in groups. That was also meant to make me glance at dead body areas that they were pointing at and gesticulating around. Insults. And yeah, you tell about the guy who came up with me, to me, pressing his penis area literally to my face, by millimeters from my face. Made me shudder away, asking to move out, yeah. I'm not mentioning the guy who walked out of me, who walked from behind me in our an almost empty train car, underground train car. So basically, he and I were in the same train car, did not notice him. He walked from behind me, zipping his pants, seeming to zip his pants, laughing, very cheerful, scared. Okay. So, insults. They were insulting me a lot there in Russia. The Russians they had this, what they called, akция, yeah. They were spraying smelly aerosols. They were visibly pretending to cover their nostrils when I'm passing by on the street with laughter, showing this, poking fingers in my face with intent, physically, non-verbally trying to assault me. Unwanted and unnecessary in context physical proximity to my body, sexual harassment, sexual assaults of me by them, sexual and physical threats, a lot of them, social threats and harm, other physical aggressions unprovoked by me, stalking of me, gossiping, badly disturbing and insulting comments. Humiliation was constant everywhere, anywhere, the worst they could give me. On everyday basis, wherever I was, they were haunting me there in Russia. Somebody there in Russia spreading some false rumors that they were saying that I was trying to hit their kid or something, and that I used a disgusting word for children, as they said. I can suspect that maybe in my disability, unconscious periods. I'm gonna take this paper closer to my eyes. I'm gonna put the other paper away, yeah, so it does not confuse me. I have several documents there. I want to make separate videos for each of those documents, or at least for some of them. So, like I said, somebody would spread some evil rumors saying that I used some bad word to talk about children in one of my unconscious disability periods that I'm talking about my brain disorder, the worst thing ever, in a separate video. Please listen to that. Okay, and where was I? I'm reading. I'm trying to read this document here. Yeah. So yeah, I found the place where I was reading here. Somebody spreading some false rumor that saying they were falsely alleging that I was trying to hit their kid, which was not true. Yeah, never happened. That I used a disgusting word for children. Again, never happened. Yeah, unless they were torturing me in my unconscious spirit. I do not know. And I wrote here, I can suspect, maybe, I do not know. In my disability unconscious spirits, they could have heard the word they mentioned. Because the rise, I was told, pervert, terrible videos of sadistic criminal pervert content that were manufactured by Americans, where my body is being used as victim of terrible, scary, pervert crimes. I was badly horrified when I was first told about those videos, all of which I believe to be entirely fake and AI manufactured. But I was irreparably psychologically traumatized by what the Americans did against me. And by the fact of the existence and reported content of those pervert horrible videos. The terms child, children, childbirth were reportedly used in those so-called videos to denote something terrible, which I do not want to think about or comment further. The Americans also told some story that there is some individual calling himself child, quotation, citation marks here, yeah, after reportedly he alleged some relationship with me. Though I have no idea, not the vaguest one, of who that person might be. And I got to know that I'm being falsely accused of having caused some serious, severe harm to the person. Okay, so I heard rumors that I'm being accused of having said something wrong to his wife in particular, after which she lost his child, or something like that. Yeah, some statements. Some statements of romance or whatever else that had zero connection to my conscious eye. Yeah, I do not know who these people are. Yeah, and here I wrote the same. Yeah, I have no idea. I have no idea if somebody could have misused me or set me up in my unconscious periods, disability periods, yeah, that happen regularly every 24 hours. Listen to my other video where I'm going to be talking about this separately, yeah. But I have no relationship, and I have had no relationship. I have no relationship now and then, yeah, or have no agency associated with any of those people. I do not know who they are. I don't know what people they're talking about, yeah. I do believe that if those rumors have any basis, then somebody used the disabled me to set me up for things that I have nothing to do with, abusing my disability periods where I'm unconscious. Every 24 hours, I'm gonna tell about it. It was terrible to hear those things. The topic of children, I want to raise this separately, yeah? It's worse than traumatizing to me for many more reasons that I can list, in addition to those already mentioned. I can make a very long list of reasons for why it's badly traumatizing. I won't go into explanation because I don't tend to cause myself mental harm thinking on those topics. Now, I was told that the interviewer, like the guy who's going to be interviewing me here in Moldova, he read these paragraphs where I was talking about the harassment of me, where adults were harassing me, using their children as tools to get to me, yeah, in very ugly, very disgusting, incomprehensible ways. So that person who I heard gossip that those people who ran it, they thought that they presumed for some reason, they falsely alleged me to be hating their children or taking their children. Please tell me you're going to be listening to this paragraph I wrote. Yeah, I'm going to quote it word for word. Yeah, I do not know if I'm a bad communicator, if I cannot express my ideas. Yeah, I am pretty certain I did not write a single thing that could possibly be misinterpreted as insulting or humiliating to any minor, any child, yeah. Uh, this paper has no hate statements against anybody, yeah. I'm reading it word for word. I'm citing it, yeah. Tell me if you find something wrong with what I wrote. There were adults, groups of adults, who harassed me, abused me, tortured me, using their children, babies, toddlers, all the children as instruments for that. They actually involved them in that persecution, which I found horrible. And I want to talk about it, have the right to talk about it. It was deliberate behavior, it was deliberate choice. I find it horrifying. Okay, I'm gonna read this. Okay, so like I said, I told you I will not go into explanation of why it's traumatizing topic for me, yeah? Because I not want to cause myself mental harm thinking on those topics. But those Russians who attacked me made it a public entertainment and harassment to hunt me using their kids, or to even provoke their kids to hurt and harm me, and to tell me bad things about me in my presence, brainwashing their children. Those adults, they were brainwashing their own children to believe nonsense. They were calling me dog, they were calling me old and ugly, they were calling me children hater when they were talking to their children, when I was passing by. That's not comprehensible to me how those people were trying to teach their children to abuse and hurt somebody who is disabled, who is exposed. I'm disabled, I'm fully exposed to any harm. I have no protection, I'm fully defenseless, yeah? I'm very vulnerable, I'm extremely vulnerable. I'm exposed to all and any harm. Those adults were teaching their children to attack somebody weak, to attack somebody innocent, to harass, to say insults. They were teaching their children as if it were a normal thing to insult, humiliate, harass, to make somebody suffer. They were intentionally trying to do this. I'm gonna tell more about this, but I'm gonna read this first. Yeah, I might even devote a special video to this. I do not know. Yeah, I'll see. So, like I said, I have reasons to believe that they actually involved their kids in torturing me, also during my unconscious states in some period way. I can quote a funny thing. Yes, and I'm going to tell a good story. I'm going to quote a funny thing. After I called some kid, Sunshine and Bunny, in the airport, asking for the way because I was very late for my plane. I might tell about this too in some video, yeah. Due to a combination of reasons, yeah, and I was scared and I had to get that plane. It was very important for me. And so I asked the child to let me pass through, yeah. I was very polite. I called them Sunshine, I called them Bunny, yeah. And I later saw that kid again with their mother, I think. I have very bad vision. But I think it was them, yeah. And I heard the kid asking her parent, I think it was a girl or a boy, yeah, I don't remember anymore, yeah. So the child said, if she called me Sunshine and Bunny, then how come? Why would she possibly hate me? Yeah. And I just laughed. I thought that's brilliant, kid, yeah. I mean, yeah, ask those adults. Go and ask what they're teaching you, what they're telling you, what they're doing, yeah? It's not about children, people. It's about very sick adults who are harassing me in groups using their own children. It's incredible. Let me read this further. I never hurt anyone, a kid or adult, in my life, to the best of my knowledge. So the people who read this found this aggressive. Yeah, you tell me. Is there anything aggressive in this? Yeah, or anything hurting somebody or inappropriate? You tell me, yeah. So I wrote, I never hurt anyone, a kid or adult, in my life, to the best of my knowledge. I'm the most innocent, decent, smeared person. But I got traumatized, I got hurt, and I got scared through the words and actions of the adults weaponizing their own kids against the innocent and helpless me. And at some point, I sincerely prefer to stay away. Yeah, now I have this attitude. I prefer to stay away from both children and their parents, so do not get hurt any further. And meaning I get out of the way, I seek distancing, yeah, basically from everybody, from children, from adults, from babies, from toddlers, from old people, from males, from females, from people of all demographics. Basically right now I'm just scared of everybody. I'm just trying to stay away from most people. Yeah, I'm seeking my privacy, I'm seeking my space. I'm badly traumatized by a lot of things, not just by that. Yeah, there's a long list of things that are badly traumatizing. I have reasons to fear for my safety, physical safety, yeah. I have reason to fear, and that's just reality, no. Somebody somebody here in Moldova, once called me paranoid one of those days when I was passing by, yeah. They were commenting, they were gossiping, and somebody called me paranoid, some woman. I started laughing, people. Of course, like that's the best joke. That's the best joke I've ever heard in my life. You're calling me paranoid, yeah, in my situation, within my life context, yeah. I'm walking on the verge of death, like for I don't know for how many years, since my birth, yeah, since before my birth, yeah. I'm walking on the very edge of death, terrible suffering, yeah. And I keep fighting for survival, trying to find that equilibrium, not to fall into death, yeah. I'm threatened by huge numbers of very different people, threatened very badly. I'm being tortured. I'm being in physical danger, undergoing physical harm. Yeah. I have no idea what the next second holds for me. I'm terrified for my life. I'm scared. I'm in every danger, or like in a lot of danger every second of my life. Yeah. So basically, calling me paranoid was like the best joke I've ever heard, you know? It's simply not possible to be paranoid being me, you know? I don't think so. Okay, but now I was reading this. Yeah, I got distracted. So I said that I seek distancing from anybody. I said that this is normal reaction to everything that was done against me, and this reaction won't change. And I don't think it will, yeah. I just want all people, all two-legged human beings to stay away from me. Yeah, that's my gut reaction, yeah. When I'm walking somewhere, I'm trying to seek out a lone path. I'm trying to, pass further. I'm trying to keep out of anybody's way. That's normal. That's natural for me after everything I've been through. Yeah, everything they did to me in Russia and some other countries. Yeah, when I'm talking about this. So, but the curious thing is, somebody in Russia spread around the world. They were saying that my suffering gives health and energy to those who abuse me. And basically, they were saying that if they involve their children in torturing me, insulting me, and making me feel bad, terrible, frightened, etc., they actually believed that they're giving their children health and life energy by involving them in torture and torment and harassment and abuse. Yeah, how sick could those adults be in their head? You know, involving their children to something horrible, to crimes, and thinking that somebody's going to benefit from this. Yeah, no, it's not working this way. Yeah, it's not like that. So yeah, I wrote here, it's something medieval. Yeah, I wrote here, I think that's why they were doing this. At least I heard those crazy things being said. I did multiple times, yeah, by those who attacked me and by other witnesses. It's something medieval, I wrote here. And nobody can ever get health or happiness through killing, hurting, harming other person, or through causing them to suffer. It doesn't work that way. But those crazy people harassed me a lot. I'm talking about the adults who involve their children here, yeah? Okay. So I did forget to write this, yes, so I did not write this here, but I'm gonna mention this, yeah? There was a separate type of harassment where there was people in Russia would approach me and would ask me literally for anything, for my money, for my property, for my food, for something, anything, yeah? Here in Moldova, yeah, there are some Russian-speaking people in this place that was supposed to be shelter where I'm in, yeah? And basically, they know about my disability, they know about my brain disorder. They try to access me in my state of brain disorder here in Moldova already. The Russian speakers, people speaking Russian, yeah, I did not check their passport, they're speaking Russian. And basically, in a very rude manner, in a very insulting manner, yeah, in a very blackmailing manner, these people are requesting me to give them my money. They're saying, like, right now, before I made this video, I heard a woman there saying, yeah, I heard somebody screaming by my windows for money. And then I heard some woman there saying, she has something like $1 million or $1 billion, yeah? She can give us some money. She doesn't have to give change. Change is not necessary, yeah? Like, really? People, yeah? And I had the same attitude in Russia. When they were harassing me with this, when they were making me uncomfortable, they were forcing me and they were targeting me. It was not because they wanted money. It was not because they were hungry and wanted food, yeah? It was not the poor people. It was not disabled people. It was not poor people. It was not elderly people. Yes, so I'm not talking about elderly people. I'm not talking about disabled people. I'm not talking about poor people or suffering people here. I'm talking about regular, well-dressed people from the street who'd approach me. Some of them with children, some of them just adults, yeah. And that were begging me for, like, they were not begging me, they were basically ordering me to give them my money. Yeah, it was not begging, it was ordering me, yeah, or trying to manipulate me into this, yeah. And here in Moldova, same thing. And people, it just amazes me, you know. Like, I want to address this Russian-speaking woman I heard just before I was making this video, yeah. Woman, what exactly made you think that I have a huge sum of money with me? Did you count my money? Did you have access to my money? How much money have I got? Yeah. How do you know? Why do you think so? Second question. Why do you think that my money, however much or little, is your business? Third, woman, people, yeah? I'm going to address all those people who engage in this, yeah? Why do you think that you have the right to force a disabled, vulnerable, alone me, who is in a strange country, in a foreign country, without your family here, without any support, without any financial support, without a job, without a permanent place to live? Yeah, I'm sitting here. I do not know my next second. I do not know my future. I do not know what tomorrow brings. I'm afraid to die here. I'm attacked by multiple people. Here in Moldova already, I'm threatened physically. I was attacked sexually. I was attacked physically. Yeah, I'm hyper threatened. I'm scared for my life. I was told in advance that my asylum claim here in Moldova is going to be denied by multiple people, including people in the immigration service who were saying that they thought I was not understanding what they're saying. I was understanding what they're saying. Yeah. And there was no interview yet. Yeah, I was just there to give my materials there. Yesterday I heard that. Yeah, and those people are saying the same. Yeah, I mean attacked by crowds of people who know, many of whom know about my disorder. The police, the so-called police here, they know perfectly about my disorder because they sexually and physically abused me through this disorder. They caused me irreparable health harm, very bad health harm, by accessing me in my unconscious states and causing me things physically, yeah? Physically torturing me. They too were physically torturing me here, yeah? I heard that was the police and the Russian-speaking people here. That's what I heard from other people who were talking about this because that information is circulating, yeah? I was told they made some videos, etc. So that's what I understood. And I really had those health effects. I really heard them saying, those police, they were making videos, they were accessing me. I heard a threat, like a sexual trafficking threat, that they were going to enter my room, lock my room, do things to me, yeah? And I believe they were doing this, you know? That French-speaking woman who aggressed against me, who's next room, yeah, with your child there, yeah, who's physically aggressive to me today, yeah, who asked those people to persecute me, yeah, now they're trying to throw me out of shelter or do things to me. They were trying to break my door the whole day today, yeah. So the director himself, you know, I heard people saying that this director himself, he also engaged in sexual and physical abuse against me and physical torture of me, yeah, where I was told they poured bottles of water down my throat by force. Somebody speaking Russian, and this police was involved, this director was involved, and some Russian speakers here was involved. There are many Russian speakers here, several at least, yeah, who also said in Russian, people who live here, some very aggressive, very threatening, very insulting statements of me, threats, yeah, disgusting threats. And I mean, I'm sitting here locked, yeah, I do not know where I go tomorrow, I don't know what happens to me, yeah. And these people are overtly saying they are waiting for me to run out of my money. They want me to spend up my last money, yeah? These Russian speakers, yeah? The people speaking Russian, they are saying they want me to lose the rest of my money. And I have very little left. I do not have $1 million, people, yeah? I have relatively little money left. It's running out. Most of the money I got from my property sale either got stolen or it got lost on conversion, yeah? Or it got plain stolen or it got misused. Yeah, I'm out of this money. Or it got spent. And I'm closing on having no money soon, yeah, basically. I still have some, but it's running out very quickly. It's about to run out. And I still need money for another ticket, for another way out somewhere. Because if these people refuse me asylum, I cannot come back to Russia. I will need to go somewhere else, try to survive, and not want to be a tramp on the street again like I was in French Guiana, yeah. I know everything about being in the street, an asylum seeker with a disability, with a brain disability, being gang raped, being almost being killed too many times to remember, yeah. Not being able to depain myself while being in sharp tooth pain. Dental pain is a horrible thing, yeah. When it's sharp, when it's emergency pain, and nobody agrees to depain you without a dollar, you know, or a euro, whatever. So I know what this thing is. Yeah, I know what it means to have no food to eat. Yeah, when I was fainting, almost fainting. when I used the same plate with some local disgusting tramp, quite disgusting, not because he was physically disgusting, but it was actually not local. It was somebody who came from a different country there. Yeah, I will not specify the country, I know it, yeah. I called the person disgusting because he was morally disgusting. He was disgusting as his brain, yeah. And I was forced to eat from the same plate, like the dogs eat from the same plate, yeah. Because I would die if I didn't, yeah. And people, I do not want to lose my money. Yeah, I do not want to be in the streets. And these Russians here, they're saying they want me to lose my money. They're making a joke of this. They are ordering me to give my money to anybody, to give away my money. It doesn't matter to who. It doesn't matter how much. They want me to give all of this. They want me to be a tramp in the street. They're saying this overtly in my face. Because, partially, they want the entertainment of seeing me begging for money or begging for food. And they want the pleasure of coming up to me and giving me a few coins, you know. While all the while they're saying they're sleeping and dreaming of taking my parents' property, that they're saying they will never get my inheritance, I will never get that, yeah. They're saying that. Fat chance. I'm gonna control what happens to any coin that belongs to my family. To my parents, to my sisters, yeah, to me, I'm gonna control every coin, you know. There were people who stole money from me here, yeah. When I was in the hotel, when I was in this room later, yeah. My money in pretty big amounts went missing, yeah? Not in gigantic amounts, but in big enough amounts, yeah? I've been to local police the first time who did nothing. They pretended suddenly they don't read Russian, yeah? They cannot read Russian, they cannot understand. They were calling me, they sounded threatening, yeah? So I said, okay, yeah? Forget it. No problem, yeah? I mean, I saw that they did not want to, you know, like, process it. So here in the shelter, I complained too that my money went missing. Yeah, this head of the shelter here. Basically, he expressed the idea it was not his problem, and they were harassing me, they were threatening me, they were trying to shake the now closed door off its hooks the whole day. The staff and the woman were there who was speaking French, yeah? I simply told them to stay away from me physically, yeah, to keep social distance physically. I told them I'm afraid of them, just to stay away from me physically, not touch my body, not to approach my body. Very simple. Not to steal my money, not to enter this room where they put me, yeah? People, that's terrible, yeah? So it does get on my nerve when I think about this, yeah? Those people in Russia, yeah, they were overtly saying that they were saying it doesn't matter what she gives to us, yeah? But it was a question of principle to those criminals that I give them something mine, yeah? They were well-dressed people. It was not some miserable individuals, it was well-dressed people, yeah? Okay, they involved their children, well-dressed children. I do not owe you nothing. You are criminals, all of you. Most of you, yeah? Okay, I do not want to generalize, do not want to sound like a Nazi. I'm not a Nazi no more, yeah? I'm not making this mistake no more. But 8 people out of 10 in that country abusing me, torturing me, physically killing me, destroying my life. Why do you think they should give you my money, my food, my anything? I'm not gonna do that. You know, there are people here in Moldova who are very elderly people, or people who are really, you know, like who have physical injuries, who are missing bodily parts, yeah? Who are begging for money. And I really sympathize with those Moldovan people who are here. I'm not sure if they're Moldovan or Ukrainian or of other origin, yeah? I've seen some very old women. I've seen some people with injuries, you know, without limbs, yeah? In very scary state, yeah? Asking for money, asking for food, yeah? I understand that those people need help. I apologize, I did not give them any money. Yeah, I made a principle, I did not do this. Yeah, because I'm alone, I have no support. Yeah, I have been through all the hells. Yeah, I do not know where my tomorrow brings me. If I'm gonna have tomorrow, yeah, and how I'm gonna meet my tomorrow. But I sincerely, you know, like hope that other people who have more stable lives, yeah, who have more support, who are more certain of their future, might be able to help those people who really need it, who really have no limbs, yeah, who really have very bad physical injuries, or who really are that old, you know, like that miserable, yeah, They're physically old and miserable, some of them, to a very visible extent, yeah, where you don't have a doubt that the person needs help, yeah. So I've seen those people. I did not help them myself, yeah, but I had the feeling that people should be helping them, yeah. It's a shame that the government, the local government, does nothing to help those people. They're on the street in some very miserable situation, in terrible situation, do not know where they live, yeah, do not know if they have food, yeah. I'm very sympathetic. I'm very sympathetic to them. I have strong feelings for them. I really hope that somebody helps them, yeah? Not me, but somebody. But when those Russian speakers, well-dressed, they were well-dressed children, attacked me, trying to grab my money or my food just for, because they wanted to, because it entertained them, for fun, for entertainment, literally ordering me in an ordering, aggressive tone to submit my money to them. Like, people, are you sick? Are you crazy? What's wrong with your brain? Yeah? Stay away from me. Stay away from my body. I'm not gonna give my body to you. Stay away from my organs. I'm not gonna give my organs to you, yeah? Stay away from my money. I'm not gonna even give my money to nobody, yeah? Stay away from my property. No, you're not gonna steal it. I'm gonna control every coin. It belongs to my family. Any member of my family, yeah? And to me. Obviously, you're not gonna steal it no more, yeah? Because they stole lots of money from me, you know? In Russia, in Moldova, in other countries, yeah? So now I'm controlling. Now I'm trying my best at least to control, yeah? Considering my brain disability, considering my unconscious periods, yeah, I'm trying my best, you know? That's just, it terrifies me, you know? Like, it makes me angry. Okay, I'm gonna continue reading this, yeah? I'm gonna return to this material, yeah? It just amazed me. It was like right now before I made this video, yeah? They yelled for this, you know, they made a point to, you know, like, the woman saying that I had $1 billion or something, yeah. No, I don't. No. Even if I was a Bill Gates, you know, I would not give her a broken sand and a dog pistol. Or any of them who know that I have a brain disability. I'm a refugee seeker on the streets, basically, without a place to go, without any support, without any job, without any source of money, without a man to protect me, without a bodyguard. A person who is exposed to any crimes, who's undergoing crimes, physical, sexual, moral, social, any. My property gets broken, gets destroyed, gets stolen, my money is missing, yeah. My body, I keep waking up, you know, with different injuries, with bodily symptoms I cannot tolerate because they are torturing me at night. Different people here, yeah, intentionally and deliberately. And they also want my money in addition to this, yeah? And they order it. That's amazing, people. That's amazing. I'm gonna read this, yeah? So, like, people, yeah? Help those who need your help, yeah? Like I said, those people who are badly disfigured, who are badly injured, who are missing limbs, yeah, who are very, very elderly. It's visible from those people when they need help. It's visible. You can see that. They look very miserable. They look entirely miserable. They look entirely lost. They look entirely helpless. You can see that, yeah? That's the person that needs help, yeah? But when those Russian speakers, well-dressed, come to me with their children without, you know, them, and order me to give my money to them, basically, mentioning my disability, knowing about this, yeah, saying, threatening me how they're gonna wait until I get unconscious to take my money, and how exactly they are gonna do this, how they're gonna be stealing from me, how they dream to see me begging for food on the street so they can come throw coins in my hand, yeah? It's their dream. You know, that makes me hyper furious. No, they're not gonna have this, no. Not a sand, not a dog pistol, no. I'm gonna keep reading this, yeah? So, where did I finish, yeah? Okay, I'm gonna continue reading. So, they, meaning certain Russians or Russian speakers on the territory of the Russian Federation, also made and distributed socially their own smear materials against me. The particularly mentioned videos with allegations of indecent comments and behaviors that were not mine. I do not know for sure whether on which comparative proportions those were AI, artificial intelligence manufactured fakes, or other fakes, or if those were made through torturing me while misusing my disorder in my regular, predictable unconscious periods. They use those to misrepresent who I am and what I'm doing, and to destroy me socially, as well as to cause more people get involved in doing me harm and persecuting me for fake reasons. Online harassment of me by those Russian criminals, threatening situations, preventing me from using online services. Any, yeah? I cannot use dating websites no more. I cannot use marriage services no more. I cannot use delivery services no more. I cannot use buy online services no more. Yeah, so online services are not for me no more, yeah? There are Russian speaking individuals trying to accuse me of racism, which is very funny, yeah? And in the case of some of them, I strongly suspect that they do it intentionally to misrepresent the situation and to hide their crimes. Because nobody can genuinely be as stupid or deluded to conclude that a victim of gang rapes, me, yeah, a victim of gang rapes, regular and intense physical torture, and every threat to my physical life, not to mention multiple other crimes committed against me, is suffering from racism. It's like, really? What else are you gonna say? What are you? They should promote those ideas, trying to present me as a Nazi or else as a whore or a drug addict or some idiot or other things, because they want to distract public attention from the crimes I accuse them of, specifically, from what I'm saying. They're scared that somebody is going to investigate their crimes, which I cannot imagine, but I do believe in God and godly justice, like I believe that God knows everything, yeah? He's going to punish them. They're going to stop existing for what they did against me. So, yeah, those people, like I said, yeah, those criminals. Where was I reading this? I lost the place, yeah? So, yeah, like I said, yeah, they're trying to distract the public attention from their crimes that they have committed against me. And they're trying to destroy me. Because, like they said, some of them, I am the witness, the victim, the evidence, and the proof, living proof of their crimes. And they want me there, they want me off their way. I'm dangerous to them, they said, yeah. And they said they're going to lie deliberately, that they're going to pour buckets of smear over my head. They're going to brainwash every foreigner. They're going to call me a drug addict or an alcoholic or whatever, just to make those people disbelieve me and not to listen to me, yeah? Just to hide their crimes because they're scared their crimes are going to get exposed. They're scared somebody's going to get to know the real thing that is happening, what they did against me, who I am, what they are, yeah? And what's going on. They're scared somebody's going to investigate. I actually don't know why they're scared, because nobody has investigated this for years or ever, yeah? I don't know if anybody has ever investigated it. I'm beginning to lose the hope for that it ever is going to happen, yeah? But God is going to know. God knows now, yeah? Okay, I'm reading this further, yeah? Goodness. Distribution by those Russian criminals and promotion of false smear disinformation about who I am as a person, as a woman, as a professional, as an asylum seeker, as a member of my family. Disinformation about my physical health status, about my education, about my financial situation, which I mentioned already. In varying ways, by the way, in varying ways, in different ways, yeah? And so on and so forth. Talking about education, I'm sorry, I'm going to get distracted, yeah? I absolutely enjoy it, yeah? I have 2.5 higher educations, yeah? I'm a professional linguist, a diploma with excellence, yeah? I have a second diploma in teaching, a Master of Arts in Teaching, yeah? That I got from an American university. The first one was from the Russian Novosibirsk State Research University, yeah, with excellence. Then there was a third program I ended, which was a doctorate, a PhD in the US. Yeah, I did not finish that one. I studied social psychology. Yeah, I have a good formal education. I have an even better informal education, a much better informal education, really. So there were people there who were trying to falsely claim that there was no education, there was no job experience, that I'm worth nothing. They were literally saying this in front of me in my face. Yeah, they were like, "Oh, what kind of job is she gonna do there? Oh, well, maybe she can work in a store." Hey, why do you say so? Has she ever worked in a store? Do we need her in our store? She has no education. She's stupid. She's worthless. Yeah, like things like that. Yeah, they were saying this about me. Yeah, in the presence where I could hear it. Right before I left, actually. Yeah, which is like hyper funny, like hyper ridiculous. All of this. Yeah, but the problem was I did not want to clean toilets for them. Yeah, I did not want to do nothing for them. If I could have, I did not want to. I would not do anything. Yeah. It's like these anti-motivation, reverse motivation I was talking about in my other video, yeah? I do not want to work for criminals. I'd better stay jobless, but I do not want to work for criminals. I'll do my best in my life. Not to ever work for criminals again. I had that experience, unfortunately, yeah? And I'll do my best not to ever work for criminals again. Or at least not to be useful, yeah? Hopefully, I'll do my best. Or depends on me, at least, yeah? So I'm gonna continue reading this. Okay, so point 3 for my asylum seeking now. Allegations of quotation, old whore, quotation, everybody's whore, quotation, she hasn't finished fucking yet, or she hasn't finished wanting to fuck yet. They used a very derogative statement for this. In Russian, I'm not even certain how to translate it to communicate how derogative it was, yeah? How shockingly derogative it was. Quotation, secret prostitute. Quotation, pervert. I was called that way by those Russian criminals. And so on and so forth, yeah? There was harassment involving smear and false claims about my genitals, about my health status, about my sexual ability, about my behavior, and so on and so forth, yeah? So that was page 3 of the document I have submitted. I'm going to page 4 now. And I'm gonna develop on that point just a little bit, yeah, very, very briefly. Allegations that I was everybody's whore, raped by everyone and anyone there. Those Russian criminals massively were spreading those allegations, yeah, calling me that, saying that. It was simply not safe and not possible to exist in that environment. It was extreme, yeah. Imagine hearing this, imagine listening to this, yeah. It drives you crazy, yeah. I almost started going crazy myself. Just listen to that, yeah. I never saw a naked Russian in my life. I never want to. I don't want to. Just stay away from me, crazy people. Stay away from me, crazy people. Yeah, it's terrible. It's horrible. I know I have a disorder. I have a brain disorder. I'm gonna talk about in a separate video. Yeah, people please listen to that. Yeah, and that's the scary part because I do not know what they did to me. Yeah, because it's possible. It's entirely possible. It's entirely plausible that they could have been using my disorder to begin raping me for years of my life, of my existence, which they were saying. I do not have that experience. My conscious self, I do not have that experience. Yeah, but I know they could have been doing things to my body. And that's the scariest part of all, yeah? The gaslighting, yeah? The absence of information that I could trust, yeah, but those are the things they were saying. Calling me these things, terrifying, scary, disgusting, calling every horror in me, yeah? Okay, so what am I saying? Yeah? I hope I still have a charge. Do I have a charge? Yeah, I think I should have a charge because I'm charging this phone, yeah? Just hope this video will not break off or anything, yeah? Okay, so, like I said, they were distributing they're there, yeah? So allegations, they were saying that was everybody's whole year, like calling it these words. It was extreme. It was it was dangerous. Yeah, it was hyper dangerous to me, yeah? There were statements that nobody would ever marry me. There were statements that all of them had it with me there in Russia, quotation marks, yeah? Anyone, quotation marks, that all of them knew how I looked naked. They were saying that. Like, who'd marry a woman like that, like when every man had slept with her in that country. They were saying that. Those Russian criminals were saying that. Ain't that terrifying? To somebody with a brain disorder. I'm a decent person. I'm a nice person. I have a brain disorder. Yeah. I don't know what they're doing to me part of every 24 hours. Whether I'm in Russia, in Moldova, in the US, anywhere. Yeah. I don't know what those criminals were doing to me every chunk of every 24 hours to my body, to my life, etc. Yeah. I have no control, I have no fault, I have no information even, except what I hear from them, yeah? Or except for the injuries I later discovered, yeah? It's scary.